Welcome back to week 6, and this is going to be the second segment of this week's lesson. And you had quite a bit of work to do developing those templates, but the great thing is, after you get them made, they're done forever. I mean, you can always just utilize them over and over, and it saves you a lot of time, makes things a little bit more efficient for you. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to utilize a template. Alright, and I also want to show you a few little more techniques of drawing, some modifying tools. We're going to use the polar array, and I'll show you how much quicker it can help you to be able to work and design with your drawings. So first thing I want to do, I'm going to go to New. Now, you remember how we saved those drawings as DWTs? Well, they're drawing templates. And what that means is when we start a new file, when you come in here and you have your wizard that pops up, which is so handy. Before, you had start from or use a wizard, and you had start from scratch. Well, this one right here in the middle is use a template. Well, the thing you got to do is go browse and find that template you made, which was a DWT, and AutoCAD has a bunch of templates already made for you. If you ever want to use any of those, you're more than welcome, but for our class, let's use the templates that you made. So I want to get in here and I want to find that template I made, which was the mechanical one, and hit open. And what it does is when it opens this up, the next time whenever you save this, you're not saving over top of your template, your DWT, you're saving it as a DWG, so your template's always going to be safe. And again, this is as far as I got on that template. I didn't get all my layers and all that stuff in, but I'm going to utilize what I've got here to draw with. And what you want to do is go back to model space, and we're going to draw in chapter 7. You have that Geneva cam. I'm going to draw that up real quick for you and show you a quick and easy way how to draw it. And just looking at this thing, I want to just hit me a center circle. I start at 0, 0, and the overall diameter of this thing is D for diameter would be 8 inches. And I'm using object line, and like I said, you can leave that on if you want that line weight, but I'm going to turn it off because it just kind of messes with you a little bit. And I want to hit my center circle again, catch that center point, and the diameter, or the radius is, the diameter is 4. Put that in there of that circle. Then I've got hit spacebar. I want to do another one, and the next one is diameter of 2.5. And where I got that from, if you're looking at this Geneva cam, you got the front view and a right side view, and I'm pulling some of these dimensions off the right side view, and at 2.5 is where I got that one at. And then I'll have one more right in the center for the bore that goes through it, the hole. It's the diameter of 1.5, and this one going around it is a center line. So I can grab this right now and I can change it. I don't know if I made a center line or not. I didn't. I'll just have to make one real quick. I don't have to, but just to show you how to do it again, just to hit new and type in center line. I'll change the color to something I don't have in the drawing. Line type was a center. And this is about a point. The center line is a default, so I want to check that, and that way I can use it current, or you come up here, you just find center line and hit this current button. And well, I'll click on this one and just change it to a center line. Just like that, we got a center line. And now I want to go back to my object line and make it current. So just click on this up here, and my computer, there we go, is slowing down on me. So I'll hit this again here, set that current at object line, and that's what we're going to use to draw the rest of it in. Basically what I would do at this point, I would draw me a line right at this point, and I'd bring it straight over, use my ortho, bring it straight over, and then I would make myself a line before I even do that. If y'all look at it, I got a radius of 4.5, another radius. So click on radius there, 4.5, enter. It gives me this arc, and where it crosses this point at, I've got a 1.5 radius. So I'll click on that again, 1.5 radius. Hit trim, right click to enter, and we'll clean all this stuff up. So we have that. I'm going to get rid of this arc around there too. So I've got this in, and then it's showing me I've got a 60-degree line coming off the top and down. So if I'm going from 0 here, I'd go up 30. So I would set my polar tracking on 30, or go to settings, and you can change it inside of your settings. We'll change it to 30. Hit OK on that. Now hit myself a line, and I come up 30, and you'll see it'll put a, just like that, kind of perforate itself. You just click on it, and it looks like from this going around through here, at this point I've got like a half-inch slot in there. So I'm going to click on this, come to this point, and it's a half-inch diameter. It's D for diameter, half-inch. Boom. Grab that to copy, catch it with that base point, bring it down there. Just like that. And I might not need all of this. And what I want to do at this point is hit my offset, 1/4 inch. Offset this from there to there. Offset that one from there to there. Do a trim, enter, or right click, and I'll start cleaning up a bunch of this stuff. Oh, I didn't need this circle down here. It was my bad. Delete that out. What I was doing there. We got this one up here, and that's basically all we need is this one up here. And I would just do another offset and put it to this side. Trim. Get all that in there. Clean all this stuff up. Delete that out. And delete these few lines we got in here. Just get rid of those. I like to keep everything nice and clean. And basically what I want to do is put me a line right through here. And I want to trim. And I should have left that line alone. No, that's okay. What I'm going to do at this point is grab this. And I want to grab this and come up here. And you see this array button in your modify? If you'll do the drop down tab, you got both. You got a rectangular array, you got a polar. I want to use a polar. That means I'm going in a circle around a center point. Grab that, and we've chose the selection. Now it's asking me for a center point. It would be this, and it asked me, if you notice up here, it automatically had 6 items in. It could have, I mean, you could have had 4. You know what I mean? Very easily could have been 4. And right there's 4, but it had 6 in it, and it filled the 360 degree. That means all the way around. Just click back on your screen or hit enter, and it puts it right back in there for you. And there you have it. It is such a nice tool. And if there's ever something you want to change on there, just double click, and right there is you can see this is the way that it's turning, but rotation, you can direction, you can change the direction of it, you can change the base point, and whenever you click on that, like I said, it brings you back in here to where you can modify if you have to modify anything. Maybe you don't want it to go all the way to 360. Maybe you just want 300 degrees. And you see what I mean on that? Well, it really didn't change nothing on this drawing. But if you had an item, let's go like 200, it might not even let me do that. See how it only does a certain portion of it. But we wanted to go all the way around 360, hit enter. And then after that, you've got it in there, and just go back up to trim, enter, and then just clean everything out that you don't need. That array tool is really handy when you get into stuff like this. And there you have it. It wasn't bad at all. So after I get this part in, they're wanting us to put this on a half scale. Now if I start putting dimensions in, we already had everything set up in that template, right? So no big deal. Start going here and putting some of your radiuses in, things like that. Boy, isn't that handy. It's already set up to do what we want to do, but the crazy thing is I want to go in here and I want this to be a half scale. Now what determines the scale that you use on the piece of paper? Let's say I want to put this on an A-size piece of paper. You come over here and I want to transfer that model onto my piece of paper. Well, you don't copy and paste or anything like that. It's already there. You come up to layout, the little tool right there, and you come down here and there is a layout viewports. Basically all you have to do is come in here and you can select polygonal or rectangular. Now you need to have yourself a layer set up called viewport, and I want to go ahead and make myself a new one. I call it a viewport. And when you do that, the line weight should be default, and you should turn your plotter off on it. You don't want to plot a viewport. And if that's the one you want, hit this little check mark and it'll set it current. That way you'll be using it when you come back in here. See, it's already set current. And come into layout up here on your tabs, layout, and I want to use polygonal. And what it is, it asks you to select and make a boundary. I'm just going to go around here and click this, right around this, right around this, right around this, and on up. And then right click to enter, and you see how it brings it in. And you remember that polygonal shape? See how it doesn't put the part over top of my title box? Now, you see this thing? It is it's too large because I can't get. I could probably move it over and get it in there a little better. But what you want to do is right here on paper. You all see this paper right here? That's paper space. So you're in paper space right now. But you can also switch it back over just like you were in the model space. This is the model space right over here. This is what you draw in. Well, you can be in layout in paper space and switch it right here to model, just like that. And in that, you can actually move your image around a little bit to get it to where you want to set it at. Alright, now when I go back to paper space here, whenever I just trying to pan, it pans the whole paper. Okay? So what I want to do is go back into model space, and you'll see now my viewport scale. You all see that? It's 0.822. Well, that's not, that's not a one-to-one scale. So this is what dictates what scale we use, is what we can fit on the piece of paper that we're wanting to print. And for this one-to-one scale doesn't work. So I'm going to have to go to one-half scale, and that's what they had on this drawing. So there's not one on here. It looks like all architectural stuff. So I'm going to go to custom, and I'm going to make me a 1:2 scale. And when this opens up, hit add. I want to do a 1:2. And this right here is your paper units, would be the 1, and this would be the 2. Hit OK on that. And after we get that put in, just slide down here, and right here is that 1:2 that we just made. It's half scale. Click on it. And you see how this thing moved to a half scale? And I'm going to switch it back after model space, get it to where you want it at, and I want to go back to paper space, and now it's stuck there. It looks great. That's a half scale. I want to go back over to my model, and I've got to change. You see this annotative scale? This is my annotations, like my text and multi-liters, dimensions. I want to change it to 1 to 2 so it matches my paper space scale. Alright, so when I do that, I go back to home, I come back up, and I hit like radius, and see how it automatically adjusts. And put the dimensions in, whatever dimensions that you need. Just for our purpose, I'm just going to put a few of them in, just like that. Now when I come over to A size paper, check that out. Those will print out exactly 1/8 of an inch. Alright, now I want to show you something else over here. Those were done by 1 to 2 scale. Let me go back here and I'll put a 1 to 1 scale, and I'll do a dimension. Do a radius. I'll grab this side here. Now, do you all see how much smaller it is compared to these? These had to dimensions had to get larger so that it would be exactly 1/8 of an inch on my paper when I print it. This right here on a 1 to 1 scale is the 1/8 of an inch size. So the only problem is whenever you go to your paper space over here, see how it didn't? If your annotation scale doesn't meet your layout scale, it won't bring them in. But if I were to come in here and now you can click right here on your viewport, and you can change your viewport scale there, or you can go to model space and change it. Either way, it doesn't matter, it'll all work out the same. But if I were to change this to 1 to 1, see how that 1 to 1 dimension come in, but I lost everything else? Y'all see how I lost the other ones? Now when I change that scale back to 1 to 2, there's my 1 to 2 dimensions, and I lost my 1 to 1. Do y'all see that? So it's very important that you figure out what scale that you're going to put the part on the paper with, and then go back and fix your dimensions to make sure all of them they get transferred onto the paper successfully. But again, if you guys are having any trouble with any of this, just please let me know. But other than that, this looks really, really good, and you'd be ready to print. And you're probably, before we end this, you're probably wondering, how do I fix this if this is like that? There's a couple of really cool tricks, and what you'd have to do is click on this one and come over here into your properties, or right click and go to properties and slide right down here, and you're going to see annotative scale. Just switch it to click on this little box, and you're going to switch it to 1 to 2. Add. We're going to switch it to 1 to 2 and hit OK. And you all see how it what we did, we added and put that 1 to 2 in there, and now it should show up over here. So on that, even though this is showing 1 to 1 here, when we click on it in properties, it would show up on a 1 to 1 scale and a 1 to 2 scale exactly what it needs to be. So that's how you'd fix that problem. Let's say, for instance, you had on B size paper and you did put it on 1 to 1 scale. It would show up on both papers at the right text height. It's a really cool tool to use, and again, if you all need any help with this, just please contact me.